When I started Intermarket, the Reserve Bank said, "Oh, what are you trying to do? It has never been done. These things that you see, we found them there, and you say you want to start. What are you talking about? I'm talking real." But the true entrepreneur, as God says, "Behold, I will do a new thing." Something that I call the African problem. I think of the African and weep in my heart. That's why I'm so delighted that ZEGU has chosen to go this route. Because I've contemplated and said, look at the African, slave of slaves. I thought to myself within me, the African shall forever be intimidated by other people's inventions. A buyer and a consumer of other people's ideas shall the African remain, chasing after bales of used clothes. Africa's engineers are nothing but fitters and tanners consigned to putting together engines and other artifacts that God has already revealed to others to manufacture. An assembler shall the engineer, the African engineer, remain.
ZimQuick TV, bridging information gap.
You know, I worked for Standard Chartered Bank after my mining experience. By the way, people might wonder, why did I do mining? It was during the war, and I was, because I'd done so well in the mining, I had replaced some white bosses, so now I was the boss. But that time, blacks were not subject to what they called call-up. Those who are grown up, call-up meant you went to serve in the Rhodesian army. So I go into the office in Wangi one time, and I find an envelope, and I open. I'd been called up to go and serve in the Rhodesian army. That was the last day they saw me. That's how I left mining. But I still thought, because I was now qualified, I thought after things settle, I will come back. It never happened. I ended up in Standard Chartered. I didn't apply, I was just approached. A friend had already joined them. Standard were also looking for black people. We were, lucky, they were looking for us because the whites were now some were going to the army. So I ended up in Standard Chartered. And then I moved on to a bad discount house. Also, for the same reasons, they were looking for whom they considered brilliant blacks because they wanted to develop and protect their businesses. It was in that place when I was in Bad, I was actually the first indigenous in the money markets in this country when Reserve Bank was Reserve Bank. In the end, I got taken by the Commonwealth Secretariat and then did work for Ghana in the financial services, restructured their financial services sector and all that before I came back to Zimbabwe to set up Intermarket, which was a very interesting, challenging, because it had never been done in the country. When I approached the ministry, they wanted to know what I meant, because they said, we've never licensed an institution. All these banks that are here, Standard, Barclays, Greenlays, we just found them there. You want to start a bank? We don't know how to license one. So I had to put my documentation, but they were very helpful in terms of sitting together and understanding what it is. And I remember what the registrar of banks, a certain lady then at the time, saying to me, please, don't fail, because you are the first. If you fail, then we might never do this again. And for sure, Intermarket shot up like now, the one thing that I keep telling people, in 13 years, Intermarket was rival. It was almost as big as Old Mutual. In 13 years. Institutions that have been in the country for 50 years were now like babies. But the reason, one of the reasons, no, let me put it here. The primary reason was because Intermarket was a spiritual organization. Secondarily, I worked 18 hours a day, 7 days a week for 30 years, non-stop. Now one day, I was in the office. A lawyer calls my house. They called, and my daughter was there. She was reading. And then she says, oh, you're looking for my dad, please phone his office. He's in the office. This was around 8 o'clock. The lady didn't phone. Around 9, she phoned. She was desperate. She phoned the house. And the girl, because she was in the study, that's where the phone, she picks the phone, says, madam, you called me earlier. Please call. Let me give you his direct line. She got the direct line. She didn't phone. She phoned at 10 again. She didn't. Then at 11 o'clock in the night, she phones on my direct line. I pick the phone and I'm like, Intermarket, can I help you? She just went quiet. Hello, and I could tell somebody was on the phone. She couldn't talk. When I was just about to put the phone down, then she says, my brother, can I see you first thing tomorrow morning? I'm very sorry. I'm so sorry. So I didn't know her. I'm so sorry. So lawyer, so sorry. I will come to your office. I said, sure. She came the following morning. And she was in tears in the morning. I said, what is it? She says, you know, I called your house 3 times. I didn't believe your daughter because most men, they say they are in the office when they are not in the office. So I didn't believe her. And she was crying. I'm very sorry. I said, no, don't worry about that. And she went on and on and on. But I'm just saying, an entrepreneur's first love after the family is his or her idea. The next thing, we are in the office, the phone rings. We had those days landlines, and we had what they called a hunting line. You could pick the phone anywhere, anybody in the office. As long as you hear the bell, you can pick it from your own office. So the phone rings, and it's 2 a.m., and I pick the phone, and I'm like, Intermarket, good morning. Again, the person keeps quiet. Hello? She eventually said, please, can I speak to Mr. So she mentioned the husband's name. So I said, hold on, I'll put you through. And I transferred to the guy. You know, it was like an open TV room. So I said, so, your wife is on the phone. The guy just burst out laughing. The wife comes onto the phone and he says, yeah, my child. So he thought I lie when I'm saying I'm in the office. So the boss himself has answered you, so you can see. I know of a company doctor whom we had contracted, medical doctor. You could never find him in the surgery. We had emergencies of staff wanting attention. You could never find him. You get the assistance until we discovered that his first love was not medicine. His first love was property development. Each time we didn't find him, he was at some site somewhere. And we found that out because we had a real serious emergency. And the PA then said, look, let me drive and go and bring him. That's when we were told what exactly he was into. So those sort of entrepreneurs are not what we are talking about here. And let me go to what was said by Ernst & Young. Ernst & Young, the chairman of Ernst & Young says, it is an exciting time to be an entrepreneur. In a fast-changing world, a single idea can overturn an industry overnight. New businesses can grow faster than ever. Entrepreneurs are also becoming increasingly important to the global economy. Entrepreneurs drive innovation, often much more quickly than established businesses or established competitors. Successful entrepreneurs, by definition, have figured out a way to do things better. They have challenged the status quo, asked tough questions, and competed with established businesses. When an entirely new industry is created, the odds are that an entrepreneur is responsible. That's a gentleman called Mark Weinberger. He was the global chairman of Ernst & Young. So when I was reading this, and I looked into what I had gone through, these are my findings. The true entrepreneur, that is me now as I put these things together, the true entrepreneur, as God, looks not at the things that are seen, but at the things which are not seen. A lot of us follow what everybody else is doing. For the things that are seen already are, those things already are, and they belong to those who brought them into manifestations. So if you are chasing something that somebody has done, that doesn't belong to you. That thing belongs to whoever invented it. For they that download those things from the world of the unseen, the world of ideas, because ideas do not sin, they have a voice. Ideas do not sin, they live. And those that have downloaded those ideas, and now when we talk of downloading the ideas and making them practical, we are talking about being a practical entrepreneur. Those people will remain the masters of their downloads, and they will continuously reap the fruits of their inventions. They seal their rights to their inventions, their grandchildren, through patents, copyrights, and charters. They shall be called franchisors, and the rest of us Africans shall always delight in being called franchise holders. The true entrepreneur, as God, calls those things which be not as though they were. They don't copy. He or she listens to the source. The true entrepreneur listens to the source, and believe you me, the source is unlimited. In my Father's house are many mansions. The true entrepreneur does not consult history. He makes history. Behold, I will do a new thing. That is the true entrepreneur. When I started Intermarket, the Reserve Bank said, "Oh, what are you trying to do? It has never been done." These things that you see, we found them there, and you say you want to start. What are you talking about? I'm talking real. But the true entrepreneur, as God says, behold, I will do a new thing. He or she does not consult precedent. He sets the precedent. She sets the precedent. He is the precedent. I am the beginning and the end.
Okay.
Originators, inventors, pioneers, they are the entrepreneurs. Africa is crying for her children, her own children, to be originators and inventors and pioneers, so they may lead the world instead of running to China and running to Russia and running to America. Africa is crying for the true entrepreneur from among her own children. Africa is crying for her children to be originators. That is the true entrepreneur. Africa is crying for her children to be inventors and pioneers. Originality is the mark of the true entrepreneur. His works are not a replica of other people's ideas. They are works that change existing interactions. The inventions of a true entrepreneur change people's way of life for the good, to their well-being. Designers, creators, innovators, such are the true entrepreneurs. There's something that I call the African problem. I think of the African and weep in my heart. That's why I'm so delighted that ZEGU has chosen to go this route. Because I've contemplated and said, look at the African, slave of slaves. I thought to myself, within me, the African shall forever be intimidated by other people's inventions, a buyer and a consumer of other people's ideas shall the African remain, chasing after bales of used clothes. Africa's engineers are nothing but fitters and tanners, consigned to putting together engines and other artifacts that God has already revealed to others to manufacture. An assembler shall the engineer, the African engineer, remain. Her professionals, yes, all her intellectuals, remain enslaved by the writings of men, book-bound as they never given time to hearing from the great within, because there's something within you. For all we know, the things that we are after are nothing compared to the things that are lodged inside of us, that God is waiting for us to download and put into the world. The African believes that money comes from America. To the African, money comes from Europe, even from India, and from Malaysia, and from China. According to him, money comes from everywhere else except from Africa, from outside and not from within. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. The African's mind was
all of us that a university like this one is not a silo of information, but a living mobile laboratory of ideas, solutions, and enterprise. If we failed to solve problems that our communities face, we would not have done justice to ZEGU. The 4 pillars we are celebrating this week: research, innovation, industrialization, and entrepreneurship, are not disconnected ambitions, but they are interwoven, they are interconnected to develop a great citizen of this nation, a total person. Together, they represent the very scaffolding on which Zimbabwe must build a resilient, inclusive, and knowledge-based economy. Vice Chancellor said, if I may talk a bit about research. Some may not know, but I want to applaud our VC here, Prof. Chirisa, that he is not leading from behind, but he's leading from the front. Just check his profile and see how active he is. I've interacted with so many vice chancellors in many countries. Some of them, they don't even write papers. They are not into that. Once they get their promotion, they get their support, they are now VCs. Their job is now to, give instructions to us at the bottom. Hey guys, what are you doing? Professors, justify your existence as an academic and so forth. But when I checked his profile, I saw that even now in 2025, he's published a lot of papers. Let's give him a round of applause. Prof. Chirisa, please continue with that spirit of leading from the front. We really appreciate what you are doing. So research must go beyond academic curiosity. It must save our people. Whether it is health, whether it's food security, whether it's education, economics, or climate change, our researchers must be agents of transformation. Let me challenge academics here present, and those that are not here, please convey this message to them. To say, one Professor Len Mokambisi said, you don't have to be an academic who teaches and go back home. You must generate knowledge, lest you become a glorified high school teacher. Yes. Please convey this message to them. And I know as an academic as well, I used to do that. Say, we are not being supported, we are not getting this. But if you look at the theme for this week, innovation is coming into the picture. You have to be innovative. You have to be creative and make things happen. That's who we are. As human beings, put us in a very adversary environment, we have to find our ways to thrive. So the same goes to us as researchers. By the way, for us to take ZEGU to international platform, we have to be researchers. We have to research. So that whatever we search, ZEGU will pop up and we make a mark at the international platform. Because at national level already, ZEGU is known. No two ways about that. Let us support multidisciplinary research to climate stress or to address research interests or areas, how to adapt smallholder agriculture to climate stress, how to use indigenous knowledge systems alongside modern science, how to improve maternal health and underserved rural areas, and how to build peace and social cohesion in post-crisis communities. This is the kind of research Zimbabwe and Africa urgently needs. So ZEGU should make inroads into that space, and I know already something is happening. Vice Chancellor said, we are blessed with brilliant minds, vast minerals, untapped potential, vast flora and fauna, that we can take advantage of to come up with products, to come up with so many things that we can use as a university. But these alone are not enough. We must create systems that translate our research into industrial solutions. Beyond the walls of this university, we should make a mark. We should make a mark, especially when we talk of entrepreneurship. ZEGU should be known as entrepreneurs. I want to be an entrepreneur. I've learned a lot even today. We must establish university-industry partnership that bring inventions to the market. Let's support the development of local technologies in agriculture, health, mining, ICT, and also the legal fraternity. Let's encourage our students and academics to participate in patents, prototypes, and production. I know that when we're speaking like this, some of you may be saying, he doesn't know what we have. He doesn't know what we experience. Human beings, they will not develop that much if they're not subjected to pressure. They perform under pressure. Let's perform under that pressure. Let's do something. Let's make an indelible mark in the legal fraternity. The law school, we've been following from abroad. We've been following the students that will go out to do competitions. ZEGU is known for that. So let's give a round of applause for ZEGU for that one. Ladies and gentlemen, let us create a ZEGU model where a solution developed in the lab becomes a product used in homes, a product used in clinics, and communities across Zimbabwe and beyond. I was here 7 years ago, so when I came this morning, I saw huge changes. I have seen the strides that ZEGU has made. Construction of many buildings. This is commendable. Because in my mind, I was still thinking of the ZEGU that I know 7 years ago. It shows that ZEGU is not static. ZEGU is moving, and you are marching on. Now, on cultivation of entrepreneurial mindset, entrepreneurship is no longer optional. And let me repeat this part. Entrepreneurship, especially for ZEGU, whether a staff or a student, is no longer optional. It is essential for the survival and growth of our youth in today's job-scarce economy. All over the world, running to England, running to America, that's not the solution. The solution is to be an entrepreneur. Yes, that's the solution. ZEGU must raise job creators. We are advocating for job creators, not job seekers. If you don't find a job after completing, thank God and say, God, now I'm done. Let me use the skill that I acquired to make money, to develop my family, to develop our communities. Let's not be, downtrodden because I can't find a job, because ZEGU is creating job creators. Entrepreneurship training must be practical, contextual, and faith-based. As for me, I envision a future where theology students run bookshops, publishing houses, and community ministries that are self-sustaining. I envision agricultural graduates that start cooperatives and agro-processing enterprises. ICT students that develop mobile applications that solve real Zimbabwean problems. Education students launch innovative after-school programs and e-learning platforms. E-learning is the in thing in today's world. So education students, you have your space there. Let alone those that are in the legal field, you can still do a lot. So entrepreneurship is about seeing opportunities where others see obstacles. I am repeating what Dr. VINGIRAI said. You see opportunities where others see obstacles. And in a country full of untapped resources like Zimbabwe, and resilient communities, of course, we are very resilient. The possibilities are endless. But don't operate in silos. Come together, share with others. Problem shared is half solved, so we can still do something. Ladies and gentlemen, what makes ZEGU unique is not only its academic mission, but its spiritual foundation. As we pursue innovation and industrialization, let us not lose the soul of education. Let us continue to build men and women of integrity, humility, and purpose. Prof. Ezekiel Kuti reminded us that education without God can produce clever criminals. But ZEGU's challenge and opportunity is to lead the way in building a higher education model that fuses technical knowledge with moral vision. The world needs innovation, yes, but it also needs wisdom. The world needs entrepreneurs, yes, but it also needs ethical leaders. The world needs power, yes, but it also needs compassion. Let that be the ZEGU difference. My call to action to the researchers: keep asking. Keep asking hard questions. Keep pushing the boundaries. Let your research speak in boardrooms, in hospitals, in townships, and in parliament. To the students, let me tell you this. You are not the future of tomorrow. You are the leaders of today. You are the leaders of today. The future of tomorrow are not yet born, but you are the leaders. Be bold. Be creative. Collaborate. Dream big. But work even bigger. If you dream big and work very small, it doesn't tally. So you have to dream big and work even harder. To the leadership of ZEGU VC, I commend you for giving this platform the resources and vision it deserves. Keep investing in innovation. Keep investing in innovation hubs. Keep investing in entrepreneurship. Keep investing in academic support. And keep investing in ensuring that there is industry linkage. Of course, our government and stakeholders who might be present or who may hear this information, let us support our universities, not just as learning centers, but as economic engines. Let us invest in research funding, innovation, infrastructure, and the commercialization pathways. And if you look at it, everything starts from the classroom, everything starts from research, then we innovate, industrialize, and before you know it, we are somewhere. Let's not even shy away from linking up with other universities, nationally and internationally, because we are relevant. As ZEGU, we've got a stake in this world economy. As we engage throughout this week, through exhibitions, and I'm sure you've heard many powerful presentations before today. Let's not take those for granted. Let's use them to our own advantage. So as we engage throughout this week, through exhibitions, presentations, roundtables, and dialogues, let us remember this, that the future we want is not something we wait for. I'll repeat. The future we want is not something that we wait for. It is something that we build together, starting here and starting now. I am proud to witness the rising influence of ZEGU, a university born of prayer, grown by purpose, and driven by impact. May it continue to shine as a light not only in Zimbabwe, but in Africa. Once again, I thank you for the honor of being your guest of honor, standing in the shoes of the Chancellor. May this week yield lasting partnerships, practical solutions, and bold steps towards a future worthy of our founding vision. I would like to unequivocally applaud the founding Chancellor of this university, Prof. E.H. Gutten, as I express my sincerest gratitude to the VC, Vice Chancellor, and the Chancellor for allowing me to be part of this great occasion. I'll leave you with this quote. Entrepreneurship is living a few years of life like most people want. So you can't spend the rest of your life like most people can't. This is a challenge that I'm bringing to you, and it is also a challenge that I'm going to take home to my children, to my students, because no one has got a monopoly over knowledge. So what I've learned here, I'll use it in the near future. May God bless ZEGU. May God bless you all. May God bless Zimbabwe. Siyabonga. Thank you. Tatenda.